What if I told you some of the most dangerous American muscle cars ever built didn't look fast at all? No stripes, no badges, no warning, just plain, boring sedans hiding engines that could hunt down Corvettes, terrify NASCAR officials, and rewrite performance history forever. Today, we're uncovering four forgotten sleepers. Cars built to blend in, built to chase, built to dominate, and almost erased from memory. Let's start with a car that looked so ordinary, no one ever saw it coming. In the late 1950s, Chevrolet's Biscayne sat at the very bottom of the showroom. No chrome, no luxury, no flair. It was the cheapest full-size Chevy you could buy, designed for fleets, taxi companies, and police departments that cared about one thing only: getting the most metal for the least money. But in 1959, something strange happened. Chevy wrapped this bargain basement sedan in its wild new batwing body, dramatic fins, wide stance, and a lower roofline, yet kept the Biscayne stripped to the bone, and that made it perfect for one very specific job: state patrol duty. Because under the hood, things could get very serious. Chevrolet had just unleashed its new W Series 348 big block V8. And while most Biscaynes lived quiet lives with mild engines, this one didn't. When the Oregon State Patrol asked Chevrolet for a truly fast pursuit car, Chevy didn't send the request to marketing, they sent it to an engineer. His name was Zora Arkus-Duntov, the same man who would later become a Corvette legend. Zora took the 348 and worked his magic: higher compression, a solid lifter camshaft of his own design, carefully massaged internals. The result? Around 305 horsepower, hidden inside a plain two-door Biscayne sedan. This engine wasn't on any dealer order sheet. You couldn't buy it. You couldn't even ask for it. About 400 of these cars were built, delivered directly to the Oregon State Patrol as undercover hot rods. Dark blue paint, dogdish hubcaps, rubber floor mats, bench seats, 3-on-the-tree manual transmission, heavy-duty suspension, and brakes. Nothing, absolutely nothing, to warn a speeder that the cheap Chevy in the mirror was packing a race-bred big block. Motor Trend tested the Biscayne police pursuit package and came away impressed, not just by straight-line speed, but by stability, braking, and durability, exactly what troopers needed on endless western highways. Today, surviving examples confirm how special these cars were: date code correct engines, police-only documentation, proof they were never offered to the public. A true factory-built sleeper born to hunt. But Chevy wasn't alone in building monsters in plain clothes, because 2 years earlier, another company shocked everyone and embarrassed America's sports cars. In 1957, American Motors had a reputation for being sensible, practical, conservative. Ramblers were economy cars, family transportation, sensible shoes on wheels. And then came the Rambler Rebel. At first glance, it looked harmless, a mid-size four-door hardtop, the kind of car a dad would buy and forget about, until it showed up at Daytona. AMC engineers had taken their compact Rambler shell and stuffed in a brand new in-house 327 cubic inch V8 originally meant for larger Nash and Hudson models. With higher compression, a hotter cam, and a 4-barrel carburetor, the Rebel made 255 horsepower, and in a relatively light unibody sedan in 1957, it was explosive. At Daytona Speed Week, the Rebel ran 0 to 60 in about 7.5 seconds and blasted through the quarter-mile in the high 17ths, faster than many Corvettes of the time. This was a 4-door family car humiliating America's sports car hero. And AMC didn't forget the rest of the package. Buyers could choose a 3-speed manual with overdrive or a 4-speed hydromatic automatic, heavy-duty suspension, Gabriel shocks, front sway bar, dual exhaust, power steering, and brakes as standard. This wasn't a straight-line joke. Could stop, could corner, and it didn't shake itself apart doing it. Even the styling played a trick on your brain. Every Rebel came one way only: a pillarless 4-door hardtop painted silver metallic with gold anodized trim, reverse slant C-pillars, clean sides. Mom's grocery getter that looked like it belonged on a NASCAR poster. AMC built about 1,500 of them, which explains why you almost never see one today. And here's the wildest part: AMC planned to offer electronic fuel injection, real EFI, in 1957. The Bendix electrojector system promised 288 horsepower and was demonstrated on early cars at Daytona, using a transistorized brain box decades ahead of its time. But the technology wasn't ready. Cold starts were a nightmare, reliability was poor, and the idea was quietly killed. Only a handful of pre-production cars ever got it. Production rebels left the factory with trusty carburetors while the fuel-injected dream lived on only in manuals and engineering notebooks. A muscle car before muscle cars existed. Meanwhile, Ford was watching all of this and getting tired of losing. By the mid-1950s, Chevrolet bragged about fuel injection, Chrysler dominated with massive Hemis, and Ford wanted blood. So in 1956, the Blue Oval quietly created something extreme, a McCulloch centrifugal supercharger bolted to the 312 cubic inch Y-block V8. The result was a factory-rated 300 horsepower engine known as the Thunderbird Special. Ford planned to sell it widely for 1957, but NASCAR rules stood in the way. To qualify for stock car racing, Ford needed to put 100 real cars on the road, so they built them. 15 two-seat Thunderbirds, 20 Fairlane 500 Sunliner convertibles, and 65 Ford Customs. The Customs were the cheapest, lightest full-size sedans Ford sold, poverty spec, minimal chrome, steel wheels, Spartan interiors, taxi clothes. But under the hood, that supercharged 312 loaded with experimental parts, special carburation, unique fuel systems, and racing-grade hardware. Built just ahead of Daytona Speed Weeks in early 1957, these Phase 1 Customs were essentially NASCAR weapons hiding in plain sight, and they were brutally fast. So fast, in fact, that NASCAR panicked. By April of that year, both superchargers and fuel injection were banned from competition. Ford, trying to stay respectable after the AMA racing agreement, shut the program down. Plans for thousands of blown engines vanished overnight. The supercharged 312 became a one-year wonder. Later Phase 2 F-Code cars at least got special VIN prefixes, but the Phase 1 Customs slipped out with ordinary serial numbers and extraordinary internals. Today, they're nearly impossible to authenticate. Most experts believe only 3 or 4 genuine Phase 1 Customs survive. Ghost cars built to win, banned before they could fight. And then there's Dodge. If you've ever wondered what would happen if a luxury Chrysler 300B engine woke up inside Dodge's plainest sedan, the answer is the 1957 Dodge Coronet D501. This wasn't just fast, it was violent. Built as a homologation special, the D501 was Dodge's most serious stock car weapon. It used the lightest Coronet two-door post body, stripped of frills and loaded with secrets. Instead of the standard Dodge 325 Hemi, engineers grabbed leftover 354 cubic inch Hemis from the Chrysler 300B, engines never meant for Dodge buyers, then made them meaner. Camshafts derived from 392 race grinds, dual 4-barrel Carter carburetors, 10-to-1 compression, factory rated at around 340 horsepower. That put this humble Dodge in the same league as the Chrysler 300C and DeSoto Adventure TO survived the punishment. The D501 got heavy-duty everything. A reinforced 3-speed manual, massive 12-inch drum brakes, torsion bar front suspension, beefed-up rear springs, huge 15x8 wheels with wide tires. The plan was simple: build enough cars, meet NASCAR rules, and go hunting Thunderbirds and fuel-injected Chevys. But reality intervened, changing NASCAR politics, shifting rules, internal chaos. Modern research suggests only about 56 D501s were actually built, including a few convertibles, and despite all that preparation, the D501 never turned a single official NASCAR lap. Instead, these cars found other lives. Some went straight to the drag strip, including one raced by future legend farmer Art Beswick. Others ended up in law enforcement service. Today, fewer than 10 are believed to survive. An ultra-rare one-year Hammer built for war denied its battlefield. These weren't just cars. They were secrets built by engineers who knew the rules and how to bend them. Plain sedans, cheap trims, family looks, but underneath, pure muscle, pure rebellion. If you love uncovering forgotten legends like these, the cars that history tried to hide, make sure you tap that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment telling me which sleeper shocked you the most, because the best stories in car history are the ones nobody saw coming.